Located on the eastern side of the Blue Ridge Mountains, this is the view many passersby have of Nelson County from this scenic overlook just off Interstate 64. But once you get down to the farmland below, the views are just as spectacular. Nelson County is crop country, with hundreds of acres devoted to growing apples, peaches, pears, and other fruits. It's a big part of the Saunders brothers' operation, but it's by no means all that they do.
So we are in 3 primary enterprises here at our field operations. The most significant, and which you can see behind me, is our field boxwood production, growing anything from a 15-inch plant on up to a 9-foot Christmas tree shaped D-runk. Second enterprise is the orchard operation. We have about 200 acres of fruit right now, including peaches, apples, and pears. About 80 to 90 of that is apples, and the majority of the rest of that is peaches. The last department is what we call our bench grafts, which are a yearling tree that we grow for commercial orchards located here in Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and places like that. We also grow some for ourselves as replacement trees or new orchards.
James Saunders is a member of the 4th generation of family members who farm in partnership in Nelson County. The original partners started farming in 1915. The success of the Saunders clan was recently celebrated when James Saunders' uncle, Robert Saunders, was honored with the 2022 Sunbelt Ag Expo Farmer of the Year Award. Like many of the large orchardists in Nelson County, the Saunders brothers operate a retail outlet on their property, where customers from as far away as Richmond and points east make the trip for the fresh fruit and other produce. Nelson County is on what the locals call the sunny side of the Blue Ridge, which is a big reason why crops do so well here. Many of the orchardists are located on the eastern slope of the mountains, where the rising sun reduces frost risk.
The drainage from the cool air that comes out of the mountains and comes down through the orchard and then goes on down to the bottomland, so we're less likely to have frost. So we have better chances of crops.
Kevin Drumheller and his mother Doris help run Drumheller's Orchard, which sits on 500 acres in Nelson County. They have a farm stand where they sell apples, apple butter, and apple slushies, in addition to the cured hams hanging from the ceiling. Doris Drumheller, who was the Nelson County Farm Bureau secretary for years, wants to continue the tradition.
Well, since the farm has been in the family all these years, I would like to see it continue, because I think that would be what my mother and father-in-law would like.
Tommy BRUGUIERE runs Dickie Brothers Orchards, again on the eastern slope of the Blue Ridge Mountains, to take advantage of the sun angle.
We have 19 different varieties of apples here. Of course, we have pumpkins for pick your own patch. We also raise sweet potatoes. We're one of the few people in this part of the country who really raise a lot of sweet potatoes. So we do fairly well with them.
The apples look tempting in the orchard, but the fruit and produce really stand out inside the Dickie Brothers retail store. While their location is somewhat remote, lovers of fresh fruit and vegetables will be rewarded for the trip. BRUGUIERE has adapted his business to the needs of today's consumer.
Everybody here now is raising apples for the fresh market. We're not really processing orchards here. The processing orchards are closer to Winchester, where the processing plants are.
Thomas Fitzgerald's great-grandfather started farming here a century ago, and it's been the family business ever since. In addition to the fruit orchards, he also grows pumpkins, soybeans, and corn.
I would say our weather is a little more mild than some other places. It can be dry, but for the most part we have pretty good rain, I would say, for our area. And one thing that helps with the corn is relationship to Harrisonburg. It's that we sell all of our corn to there, so not as convenient as over in the valley, but you're just right over the mountain.
Nelson County has a total of 409 farms on 67,841 acres. The market value of all agricultural products is $26,719,000, a 69% increase since 2012. Crops make up most of that, bringing in $22,185,000. Fruits and berries generate $7,199,000 in sales, while vegetables, melons, potatoes, and sweet potatoes account for $1,126,000. Livestock brings in $4,534,000, with cattle and calves producing $3,953,000. Forestry brings in $468 million, according to a study produced by the University of Virginia in 2015. Danny Stevens and his grandson Thomas Huffman cut timber in the foothills of Nelson County. 5 generations of this family have been in the timber business in the county. It made an early impression for the newest member of the family to take up the trade.
Just as a kid going to the woods with them, I just fell in love with it. Wanted to do it when I graduated. I've been doing it for 3 years full time.
They see a positive outlook for timber in the county for the near future, but they also feel development pressure on their business.
It's still, for the next 10 years, it still looks to be very good. I don't know how much of the land will be sold out in that period of time, but it's a lot of it being sold out, people subdividing it.
Nelson County is also home to the Walton family home. The iconic structure commemorated in the hit television show is still standing, although it's been bought and converted into a bed and breakfast. There's a museum and gift shop for die-hard Waltons fans, but the real stars of Nelson County are the people who continue to follow agriculture's robust tradition here. From forestry to apple trees to boxwoods, Nelson County farmers are taking advantage of everything the land has to offer. In Nelson County, I'm BURKE MOELLER reporting.